Well, hey everybody, welcome to RoxTalk episode 1, here with your hosts, Brayden and Dawson Lee. We're excited to talk to you about Rockies baseball in 2022. It's an exciting year. We got some regular baseball getting ready to come up. We've got season tickets this year, so you'll be able to find us at Coors, and we are jacked up. Dawson, I'm excited for this.
Yep, I'm more than excited.
So got big news today, which is it's the 21st of March. Dawson, tell us the big news today.
So this morning, the Colorado Rockies extended Ryan McMahon to a 6-year, $70 million extension with a year 4 opt-out if he finishes in the top 5 in the MVP voting in the first 3 years. So pretty interesting. But loves that we're locking these guys up that really really control the Rockies team and kind of make us who we are. So
I think Rymac's personally, we like Rymac a lot. You'll find Dawson and I are very fond of Ryan McMahon. But I think when you look at who he is, who he's been for our team, particularly last year, whether it was in the home run category or just, getting hits, he was a significant contributor offensively. And coming in to replace 2-8, which is not an easy job. Anytime you're going to fill third base after Nolan Arenado's been there, it's not going to be an easy fill. And I thought with big shoes to fill, he brought his own spikes and did a heck of a job.
Oh, yeah. And on both sides of the ball, too.
Yep, absolutely.
His defense was unreal. And then, yeah.
There were a few plays last year I remember watching where it almost looked like Nolan coming up barehanding it, throwing across his body, kind of off a hop. And I thought, there's something to Ryan McMahon, and I'm not discrediting Nolan because we love Nolan. He's a baller. But there was something in Ryan, seemed like last year, that he just was ready to rock, and I absolutely loved watching him defensively. He was a stud, and then offensively, of course, a big-time contributor, and I expect nothing less. I really think he has the opportunity to lead the team in a lot of categories this year offensively.
Yep, I agree. He's one of our main guys. Kris Bryant's just getting there, but
Kris,
he's stepping up. So,
and that's another big piece. Obviously, we got Rymac getting locked up today, and then what day was it that we?
Just last week, last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday, we locked up Kris Bryant on a 7-year, $182 million deal with a no-trade clause. He's in Denver. He wants to be in Denver. We have our new superstar, and I'm excited about Ryan McMahon, and I don't want to sound like I'm not. But to see a superstar like Kris Bryant walking into Coors Field, putting on some pinstripes, not ugly Yankee pinstripes, but putting on some Rockies pins, got me really excited. Dawson, what are you feeling with Kris Bryant? I know you're excited, but talk to me about KB.
Yeah, so like you said, we're excited about Ryan McMahon and all that he's done and he's going to do. But Kris Bryant, everyone knows Kris Bryant. Not everyone knows Ryan McMahon. He's just, 4th year in the league coming up. Kris Bryant won Rookie of the Year, won the National League MVP, won World Series with the Cubs, ended that curse. He's got a name, and he's a veteran for sure and brings that leadership to the team in the clubhouse. And I liked what he said in the press conference. He just wants to be a guy that the guys can lean on, whether it's a big game or just a certain play or at bat, just any of that stuff. He wants to really help the guys, and just that unselfish personality is great.
And I think there's something to be said, something for me at least, that impacted me, that made me like. Now, I've liked Kris Bryant for a long time. I loved watching him win the World Series. It was good to see that, honestly, for the Cubs. But the thing that has been most impactful to me about Kris is as much as I loved Nolan and as much as I loved Trev, which maybe we should talk about Trevor's story to Boston, but as much as I loved them, they did not want to be in Denver.
Yep.
And to me, it's really, really hard for a fan base and a team to get behind a leader that doesn't want to be in Denver. And now to know that Rymac is locked up, seems to love Denver. I don't know if he said that on record, but seems to love Denver. And now you've got an absolute superstar who could have been a big-time piece literally anywhere in the majors, chooses to sign with Denver, chooses to come to the Colorado Rockies, is going to contribute, but wants to be in Denver. To me, not only does that make something stir up in me and say, hey, I'm excited for Kris to play with us, it also does something, I think, in terms of shifting kind of the perspective of the Colorado Rockies. There's now a superstar that isn't trying to get out of Denver, a superstar that wanted to be in Denver. And now this becomes a spot where, hey, we can build a franchise around this guy and bring in some other big pieces, because if Kris wants to be in Denver, maybe I want to play in Denver too.
Yep, and exactly. And one great thing about it too is we've already started to build around him. Even before we signed him last week, signed Alex Colome, Jose Iglesias, extended pre-lockout, which that's a whole separate issue. So glad that's over. But we extended Antonio Senzatella. We have Marquez extended through 2024. CJ Cron, Elias Diaz. We're already starting to build around him even before we even signed him. So I love that we're doing that. So
I'm excited. I don't think Dawson and I, what you'll find about us is Dawson and I have always been big-time Rockies fans, huge baseball fans. I don't know if there's ever been a year that I've been more excited about Rockies baseball. And I know it's happening on April 8th now instead of whenever it was supposed to be. But I cannot wait for opening day, because this team is one that I look at, and not just on paper, but in terms of heart, I'm like, we could actually make a push for something this year and do something big. And I think we're going to.
Yep. And another thing too, if you're a player, like a Ryan McMahon or CJ Cron, anyone on the team, when you see a front office make these moves for Kris Bryant, which the Rockies never do.
Yeah, can we just talk about that for a minute? Have we ever made moves like this ever?
We extended Nolan, but then we messed that up. So I don't know. It's a change for sure, and people are questioning the moves, but I'm all in on it, and I like the moves we're making. We had a GM change,
and that was needed.
Yeah.
This podcast is not about hating on anybody, and so we're not going to do that. But it was time for some movement in our front office, because I think in a lot of ways we've become a laughing stock of the MLB. The way that we treated superstars, not historically, not just Nolan, poorly, seemed to waste them or get rid of them in overnight. Some just weird stuff that I think made Denver not even just an undesirable place to play, but almost a scary place to play as a player. There's volatility, there's uncertainty with ownership, or maybe not ownership, but just leadership. Makes it a scary place. But now, seeing some of these changes, I gotta say I'm pretty happy with the new GM, with the things that they're doing in the front office, and I don't know, I'm excited about Rockies baseball in 2022.
Yep. And actually, Bill Schmidt is the new general manager. Stepped in last April or June. It was somewhere in there, I think. Just saw a thing recently. He's already spent over $370 million, and that's not just on Kris Bryant. That's Ryan McMahon, pitchers, extensions from pre-lockout signings. So I mean, it's exciting. There's excitement in Denver and in Rockies baseball right now. So.
And I don't know that I've ever felt Denver this buzzy before.
Yep.
There's stuff going on with the Nuggets. Russell Wilson's coming to play for the Broncos, and I hate the Broncos. I just want to be abundantly clear. I know some of you may not even want to listen, but I'm not a Broncos fan at all. But I don't know that there's ever been a more exciting time than to be a Denver sports fan than right now.
Yep.
And especially a Rockies baseball fan. And that is, to me, that's why we started this. We've been excited. Dawson and I, we've talked about starting a podcast and talking about baseball or whatever for a long time. But something was just stirring. We bought season tickets. Then these big moves started to happen, and we were like, my goodness, we just got to start talking about it because we're excited.
Yep.
And we want you to be excited.
And Kris Bryant's excited, so how can you not be excited?
Yeah. If Kris Bryant's excited and you're not excited, something's wrong with you. Yep. Okay, I love you.
And just one last thing with Kris. I just loved how he wasn't just talking about himself in his press conference and in his interview so far. If you missed his press conference, go watch it. You can find it on MLB.com. And
we can link it in the show notes.
Yeah, but I just love it because the first things that he was saying was complimenting his teammates that he's been a teammate for one day with, about how he's never had a comfortable at-bat against the Rockies, and talking about our pitching, which everyone thinks our pitching is terrible, which, I mean, I do too, honestly, in some ways. At times. So just to hear that from an all-star like Kris Bryant and such a great hitter like that, it's just crazy. And I mean, and then just offensively, I mean, he hit 25 home runs with 73 RBIs with the Cubs, and then with San Fran, and that is not a hitter's ballpark. So I'm excited to see his numbers at Coors Field, because who doesn't want to hit at Coors, So.
Yeah, you want to hit it. You don't want to throw at Coors all the time, but you definitely want to swing the bat there. Do we know what he's done at Coors? What his stats have been?
Yeah, it's not much.
Because he said he struggled.
I think it was just like 2 home runs and 7 RBIs, like 250. I think he's hitting. So.
Well, I bet he's going to have 2 within the first couple series in Coors. But so I'm excited. We're excited. That's the big news. I mean, we've made some other moves this offseason. Again, we'll put some links in the show notes for things that the Rockies have been doing, just so that you can be completely up to date. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well, so that you can kind of keep up with that. We're not usually the source, but we will share from the source to make sure that you have the right information there, and that you're up to date on all things Colorado Rockies. So in spring training, obviously a lot of the big names haven't seen a lot of at-bats, stuff like that. Pretty normal. We're approaching start of the season. Any injuries, anything people need to be aware of as we're starting to walk up to that time?
Just recently, I think it started yesterday, Brendan Rodgers has had some back tightness, our second baseman, shortstop. Bud Black scratched him from the lineup yesterday and today again. But, it's spring training, nothing to worry about. Yeah, Bud Black's not, he actually said in an interview, he's not worried about it. He looks okay, just, you want to be safe and not wear the guys out, especially on a shortened spring training. Where you have a week or so less than normal, so take care of your body and stuff like that.
Definitely, we want him healthy, and he's a big piece of our offense too.
Yep.
And our defense. I mean, I like Brendan Rodgers a lot. So. And
just another injury too is Scott Oberg moved to the 60-day injured list, which he was out basically the whole year. I think it was the whole year last year. So that kind of hurts, but like we said, we signed Alex Colomé, and I think. We've got some guys to fill in. So
it's going to be a fun year. There's no doubt about that. And this year we have a big change in the way that lineups are going to be formed. For the first time in the NL, we have a universal DH across baseball. Dawson, do you like this? Why or why not?
So a couple things. I actually do like it, as much as I hate to say it, because Germán Marquez is such a good hitter. Won a few Silver Sluggers already. He hasn't been in the league very long. But to see a pitcher rake how he does, I mean, I was at a game last year. I think the only runs we scored was like 3 RBIs by him. He had like 2 doubles. I was like, the reason I like it in some ways is I know it takes stuff out of the game, like sacrifice bunts, just that whole strategy. But you see so many injuries, whether it's a hit by pitch or running the bases, because that transfers into them pitching the next inning, how tired they are running the bases, or if they, stepped on the base wrong, stuff like that. So I personally like it. There'll be more offense, it'll be more entertaining for the people that don't understand baseball as much, probably see more hits and stuff like that. But it's going to change the lineup too. Even the Rockies lineup, they're already, Bud Black actually was saying yesterday, they've had discussions about Charlie Blackmon leading off again. And actually, he did just in spring training. He led off in the game. So who knows? Maybe we're bringing that back. And but
Chuck Nasty doesn't have the wheels that he used to have.
But the leadoff spot has changed over the years. Right. It's not always speed, which it did used to be.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I hate the universal DH. You'll find most things Rockies, Dawson and I will agree about. Occasionally things baseball, Dawson and I won't. I think I tend to lean more on the side of the traditional old school. I don't care if you're tired because you had to lay down a sacrifice bunt and run to first base. That's part of the game. I love the strategic components, and probably the MLB wouldn't love me being a voice very much because they cater to the fans, to the experience, to the revenue. I am a lot more concerned with, I don't care if you don't get it. Learn it, Susan. You need to understand how baseball works. It's okay. There's sacrifice bunts on purpose. It's a part of the game, Susan.
Well, the thing is, like, we appreciate that. We enjoy sack bunts and, third baseman making them play and stuff like that. But it's good for the game in general, I think, for sure.
It's good for the fans.
Yep, good for the fans.
But I don't know if that means it's good for the game.
When I say good for the game, I mean fans coming and enjoying the game more than, a lot of times when you see a pitcher up to bat, no one pays attention. I mean, I do. We do. We pay attention, like what's he going to do? Is he going to swing, slug, bunt? What's going to happen, But a lot of people just stop watching that at bat anyway.
It's the time to go get a hot dog.
Yep. Or lemonade or
Well, it shouldn't be. Sally, if you wouldn't have went to get hot dogs every time our pitchers were up to bat, maybe we would still have the bunting. Yep. Maybe we'd still have pitchers hitting in the NL.
And we did get a taste of the universal DH in 2020, the COVID year.
We did.
But that was just tough to... It was just such a crazy year. No one even could really get used to it. You're not at the games. Not as many people watching because no fans in the stands. Shortened season. Stuff like that. But
well, maybe her mom will be the DH once in a while.
I hope so. I hope he gets some at-bats, actually. I hope, sometimes in extra innings and stuff, they have to step up. I hope he gets some pinch hitting appearances. So.
Well, here's all I have to say. As mad as I could be about the universal DH, it's not that big of a deal. In light of, we signed Kris Bryant, we signed Rymack. We've just got things working. Column A's on that. We've done some stuff in Colorado that I feel like we haven't done before. You've got a fan that's been a fan since he was just a little dude, pumped up, season ticket holder now, going to be down there for just about every home game, and we're going to be pumped. And even though I won't get to see pitchers hitting, I'll be excited to see what's going to happen in Denver. Anything else?
Well, speaking of good hitting, not to get our hopes up too much, but Michael Conforto is still out there. Big lefty power bat.
That's true.
You
don't think we'll go get him, do you?
We were pursuing
moves. I don't know.
With Kris Bryant.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
if we went out and got him, I would probably fall right out of my seat. I don't think I would have. I think this is still probably the most active and effective offseason that we've ever had. That at least in my memory, and right. I don't know. I can't remember an offseason that was better.
No, extending Nolan was sweet and all, right. But it was short-lived.
Yeah. And
we might have signed one single A player on top of that. We didn't build around him or anything. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Good stuff. Well, we're going to keep this show pretty short and sweet, at least early on, so that you're not feeling like you got to carve out an entire car ride to listen to us or something. But we have a couple final questions here. Most excited, most nervous, and then we're going to share our predictions for the Rockies season. So, Dawson, coming up into this season, what are you most excited about as it relates to the Colorado Rockies?
Well, it's tough to break it down in one thing because I'm so excited. So I'm actually going to give two things, or maybe three, we'll see. One thing that I'm really excited for is our starting pitching, our rotation. We've really had a good rotation. Marquez, Senzatella, Freeland, Austin Gomber actually pitched pretty good last year. We got him in exchange for Nolan a couple years ago, or a year and a half ago. It feels like a long time ago for some reason. But we've struggled to stay injury-free. So I'm excited they're all healthy right now. And so I'm really excited to see what they can do as long as they stay healthy, which we're hoping they do. And then I'm excited, obviously, to see Kris put that purple on at Coors Field opening weekend against LA and Freddie Freeman, which I hate to say.
Don't talk to us about the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And don't talk to us about Freddie.
But with that, I am excited.
Frederick.
We're in arguably the toughest division in baseball.
We are
the wild NL West.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for opening weekend, honestly, and just throughout the season, but specifically opening weekend at Coors against Freddie and the Dodgers. Kris Bryant's Rockies debut, Freddie Freeman's Dodgers debut. I don't know. I could see us winning 2 out of 3 against them. I could see it. We'll see. They're a powerhouse.
We will And that's what I'm most excited. My most excited is going to be to start the year off winning 2 out of the 3 against LA, making Freddie feel like he made the wrong choice leaving Atlanta. Coming into Coors, I'm excited about that. I'm the same as you, Doss, but I respect your time, so I won't say 3. I'll just say 1. I'm just kidding. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch the Rocks opening weekend with new guys in the uniforms, just a different feeling of Rockies baseball.
Yep, fans are excited. Players are excited.
This is the first year. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is one of the first years where almost across the board, there's a lot of fans that are seeming to be more excited and more hopeful. There seems to be like a hope in the air. Now, there's still those that are bitter about Nolan, and if we're going to spend money on Kris, why don't we? I get it. But for the most part, it seems that people are excited, and I'm excited about that.
And just to throw it in there, too, with people being upset, Trevor signing with the Boston Red Sox on Sunday.
So we're happy for Trevor.
Yeah, good for him, and like we said, if he doesn't want to play for the Rockies, not going to play as well, and, So, I mean, I get that some fans are upset, but there's excitement because we're not just losing like Nolan last year and not doing anything. We lost Trevor, and we're signing guys.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
It's exciting. I mean, it's part of the business, and
I don't feel like we moved. I don't feel like we moved backward this year. I feel like we took steps forward, 100%.
And Trevor did have a bad year last year. I mean, he'll be Trevor. He had some elbow issues last year, but he'll be fine. So.
All right. So most excited. What about most nervous about? What's got you nervous?
I think kind of with my excitement with the pitching. I think I'm just kind of nervous about the pitching in general. We just always seem to have issues blowing games late or giving up 5 runs in the first 2 or 3 innings, But I think I'm just kind of nervous that we're not going to stay healthy. And, just pitching at Coors is tough, But I don't know. And I am just nervous about the NL West, too. I mean, you got the Dodgers. Yeah, we don't have to explain the Dodgers, the Giants, coming off one of their best years ever almost. And then the Padres, they're not letting up. They're out with no Tatis the first few months, but it's not like he's their only guy. And Diamondbacks, who knows? They might win a few games this year too. We'll see.
Probably not.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, Wild West, the NL West is crazy. Of course, you're always a little bit nervous knowing that when you're going to play in your division, you're going to play some of the best teams in baseball. I think that, I'm nervous about that. My biggest area of nervousness or concern is the same as Dawson. But mine comes from the bullpen more. I just am concerned that we'll have some good outings from our starters like we have for what seems like the last 15 years. Good outings at times from our starters, and then you've got guys coming in to throw, and 1 inning they can't. They blow it. Yeah. It's such a backbreaker. When you have a bullpen that opens the door for hitters in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, I mean, how many games have we been to where we're ahead, the atmosphere is excited, I'm chowing down on nachos and Polish dogs and whatever else I can find, and then I can't even eat by the time we're in the 9th inning because we're losing now.
That's why I eat before the game.
Eat before the game. But not this year, because this year you'll want to eat after the game too. You'll be excited because we're going to get wins. Yeah. I'm excited. My excitement and my anticipation and my positivity as I look toward this 2022 season for the Colorado Rockies far, far, far exceeds my nervousness about our bullpen. I think they're going to figure it out. And so with that, I want to give you my prediction. And this is a bold prediction. I think that this year the Rockies are going to go 90-72. We're going to break the 90 win mark this year. 90 wins. What do you think about that? And then tell us yours.
I sure hope so. I love the optimism. I like to think we're going to win 100 plus, But, realistically, baseball's so hard and there's so many tough teams, and especially our division. Which one good thing about that, I don't know if you know this or not, but starting next year, I believe, we're actually going to be playing our division less. It's actually going to be cut down, each division. You're going to be playing your division rivals and stuff less. I don't know the exact numbers, but But yeah, I mean, I love the optimism. I think it's a bold prediction, like you said, for sure. But I don't know. Mine's kind of bold too, I guess, kind of. We finished 74 and 87 last year. Not 162 because game against the Braves got postponed, and then they already won the division, so we didn't make it up, which kind of sucked. One less game of Rockies baseball, but let's face it, we probably would have lost last year because they were pretty tough. But no, I got us breaking 500 this year for the first time since 2018, I think. 83 and 79 is my prediction. I think we're going to sneak past it, but, just with the Dodgers and Padres and Giants, I mean, I think we'll get them a few times, but we really struggle in LA and even San Fran and San Diego too. But I'm excited though. I think it'll be a good year. So, and I hope it's more than both of our predictions.
Me too. I would love to see us win more than that. And we are excited. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to us talk about Rockies baseball. Thanks for joining RoxTalk episode 1. We'll be coming at you every single week as of right now, and hopefully more frequently as we get deeper into the season. If you happen to see us at Coors, please come say hey. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you can find us at. Stay up to date with the Rockies news, and we will see you next week.
Yep. Go Rockies.
Go Rocks.